Good morning everybody, welcome back to another Chart Nerd TA video. We're going to be diving into HBAR this morning, looking at the weekly and the monthly time frame. Now, a lot of altcoins, Bitcoin as well, you know, we've had a great past couple of months and a great start to the new year. You can see that HBAR here off of these lows is starting to run up to its 10 EMA on the monthly time frame. Now, I am expecting resistance at this area. We've had resistance here a few times before. You can see that this previous wick in February 2020 was met as resistance. We then started to come down, coil up, hold a level of support. You broke above the 10 EMA and you would have formed a golden cross here between the 10 and the 20, but the 20 didn't have data at this point, so this would have been coming down here somewhere and you would have had a golden cross somewhere, got back above the EMAs on the monthly, and this confirmed the next sort of wave for HBAR at this point back in January 2021. So again, you've got this point of resistance here. We've met it as resistance once we lost it here too. We turned it into resistance again. You come down to a new low, and right now again you're attacking this area of resistance for a third time in its history. So what we need to see for HBAR here is getting back above this 10 EMA, turning this resistance into support, potentially running up to the monthly 20, coming back to for this previous resistance, turn it to support and look to get the continuation. Because again, it's quite surprising. Once you actually did break out of this area of resistance and you did start to tackle out, it wasn't back tested for support, and what happened is we lost the support and we turned it to resistance again. So we confirmed it. That's our second point of resistance there in August 2022. We've put in a low in December 2022 and now we've rallied back up to this resistance point again. So this is a very, very strong area of resistance that we need to see a HBAR break above to maintain some sort of momentum. Or I think the next leg that you'd be looking for to run back up into is this previous support that hasn't actually been back tested since we lost it. So you see we had support, okay, we came down, we looked for it for support here, but we lost it as support. Now since we lost this horizontal trend line here, which is a price of 14 cents, that's not been back tested. So this loss of support here has not been back tested as resistance. So what we need to see, as I said, is the break above the 10, hold the 10, coil up for a little bit, take out the 20, start to drag these EMAs up, create some sort of EMA squeeze here, and actually start to take out these resistance points. Because once these resistance points do start to get taken out, it's looking very, very bullish for HBAR. But again, in the near short term, I just wanted to show you guys one thing as well. We had a technical target here of a potential head and shoulders or a double top. You could say a triple top. You had a high, a left shoulder, sorry, a head, and a potential right shoulder. Now this target I do believe has been met. So we go from the neckline of the head and shoulders to the we go from the head to the neckline, and once we drag it down, you see we've lost support. That target was near enough met. It was just shy met. So this is why you're seeing some relief off of HBAR here, because we had this bearish pattern here, this topping out pattern. We lost it as support, met the technical target, and as I've said, since you lost that support, you haven't actually back tested it as resistance. So I think over time, this 14 cent area is where HBAR is looking to try and sort of get to. But again, as I've mentioned, we do have levels of resistance above. We've got this 10 EMA, okay, this sitting above us on the monthly. We've met this area as resistance before, this 830 range, and potentially I think it would be nice to see some sort of healthy pullback, because on the weekly here, we have had a good 5 months worth of upside, okay, and again you can see that this is a lot more of a clearer viewpoint. This area here is a very strong level of resistance, okay, so we do need to see ourselves get back above that, create this bullish cross on the weekly here. If we do get the bullish cross and see some sort of pump up, sort of coil up between the EMAs and look for the break, okay, and this would be the next area that I'd be targeting to meet as resistance. So what we'd be looking for here for some sort of confirmation is potentially a run up to this area as resistance, come back for support on these EMAs as they're dragging up, okay, and then look for the breakout. We need to hold above these EMAs here on the weekly, okay, start to get some sort of ascending level of coiling support, create some sort of bull flag, potentially ascending triangle up here, and start to tackle out of this resistance, okay, because again it's very strong resistance points. You can see before this resistance was broken, turned to support, and then once you actually retested it here, you lost support, turned it to resistance, okay, and this is where you had that sort of capitulative couple of months for HBAR at this point. So again, we've come off this low, retraced back to this high. It wouldn't surprise me to see resistance here, and it wouldn't be a bad area to take some profit off the table, I think, for a potential pullback. So where could we find support if we do run into this 00830 area? Well, I'll be looking for a pullback to the golden ratio, to hold support here to confirm that you're potentially starting to coil up, you know, run into this target, potentially pull back to the 050 or the 0618 here. This would be my retracement targets. And at this point, if you did hold support and start to coil up and then attack this 830 again as a third point of resistance, I think, you know, 3 is a magic number. I think on the third time, potentially you may get the break here. And if we do see some sort of backtest of support and correction come in now, again, holding this golden ratio would show us, okay, potentially you've got this low, you've got a high, come down to a higher low and break out, okay, and you're forming some sort of ascending triangle or a bottoming out structure pattern. Potentially we could be looking at some sort of inverse head and shoulders here on the weekly time frame, where you've got this left shoulder, this is your head, okay, where you're starting to come up here, get rejected, and potentially pull back to this 050 area for support. Again, it would be around the same size as the left shoulder and the right shoulder in regards to time and in depth, okay. You want them to be very similar to get this confirmation that this is an inverse head and shoulders. And again, if that does occur and we do pull back to this 050 range, we will have a breakout target, which would be from the neckline to the area of support that we bounced off in December. And you can see that once you do start to tackle out of 0.0830, you can see that you're off to the races again and having higher technical targets. And potentially this is a wave 1, you get a wave 2 to support, get a large impulsive wave 3 breakout, and then you got a corrective wave 4 to support, and then you're looking for a wave 5. And again, you can see that you're starting to flip the switch here. And on the monthly time frame, again, everything works in waves. Okay, so you had impulsive wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, a wave 5. Right now in the bear market, you've had a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, a wave 5. Right now, again, I think you're starting a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5, getting yourself back out the neck of the woods. And then you've got a low. Okay, you've got this massive high, you've got a higher low, and then again, to confirm this uptrend for HBAR, you need to see it start to tackle out of its all-time high and put in a new high, and you're confirming that this is a larger sort of macro scale trend for HBAR. Again, if we have a little zoom out here on the monthly, right now bouncing off of this area of support, we could say that we've got this trend line in. So if we do start to come back, again, you've got support here, you've broke out impulsively, come back for this area of support. If we do start to come up and get rejected here, this trend line may act as a very strong support area and actually fake out a lot of people in the market. They think it's going to come down and start retracing back down to these lows in January. But if you do hold a higher low here, and as I said, start to coil up and tackle out of that 0.00830, I think it was, again, you've got a low, a high, a higher low, and all you need to do is tackle out of this to create a higher high to confirm you're confirming the next sort of bullish structure, back test the support, and again, as I said, you're off to these races here for HBAR. So that's what we're looking for. I do think we will run into this area as resistance, and I do think we potentially will pull back for support, create a higher low, start to coil up over time, and eventually look for the breakout to start back testing this area of previous support that we lost back in, where was we, April. Because I said at the start of the video, this support was very strong for a good few months. Okay, you've lost that support, met a technical target, now you've created this upwards ascending level of support here for HBAR. It wouldn't surprise me, again, pull back for support, coil up over time, look to break out, okay, and then you're going long back up to this point of previous support and looking to meet that as resistance. So if this was the case, and we did see in the near short term some sort of pullback to this trend line, you could be looking at a rough 30% pullback. Again, as I said, it would scare the hell out of people, but you've got to consider we are up around 103% since these lows in November, December. You know, we're up 100%. So to see, you know, these 30% pullbacks again would scare the crap out of people. But putting in a higher low here, holding support, bullish structure, I think that's potentially what we're looking for here. I think Bitcoin is a little bit toppy at the moment and looking for a pullback. The DXY as well, we're looking to meet into resistance on the larger time frames, and if that does create death crosses on the larger time frames, then it's very, very bullish for crypto moving forward. So again, it's a game of support and resistance. You can see that this area here is very strong resistance for HBAR, which currently sits just below the 10 EMA on the monthly time frame. So again, this is why, because of previous past data, whenever we have come up to that from a low, we have had this pullback to support, created a higher low, just like we did here in February. Okay, you had the low, came up, met resistance, exactly where we are now, pulled back for a higher low, got that higher low, broke out of resistance. Right now we're looking for the same thing. Okay, we've come down to a low. Okay, you've got this low, you've ran into resistance, potentially pull back to support, create a higher low, just like we did here. And once you do start to tackle out the resistance, just like we did here too, you can see it starts to get very impulsive for HBAR moving forward. So that's what we're looking for. That's the bullish case scenario, guys. Do get these trend lines in. It's literally a game of support and resistance. You can see that this area is very strong resistance. Okay, it's the third point of contact we've had with it. Coming back here for a pullback would be lovely. And the more points of contact you have on this as resistance, okay, I think down the line eventually you're bound to break it. And once you do break that, if we do come back, as I've said, hold support, turn this into support, turn this resistance into support, this is your confirmation to go long, back up to previous support and look to turn that into resistance in the near future. So I do think this is where HBAR is trying to get to. Now, if we do see something very negative here, we do see a very strong push down off of this 10 EMA, okay, and we're retracing back down to these lows that we put in December. Okay, if we do start to lose the 0.50 and this is 0.618 golden ratio and start to come down here and lose this trend line and potentially turn it to resistance, okay, run back into the 0.50 and start retracing, this is very negative for HBAR. You're losing this ascending support level, this ascending trend line that you've created for yourself, and potentially what this could be on the larger scale of things. Is potentially you've got a wave 1, a wave 2, a very impulsive wave 3. This is quite a sharp impulsive wave 4, 100%, and then you've got your wave 5 back down to these lower targets here at around 282 to 212, and this could be the final move or play out, I think, for HBAR if this isn't the bottom. Okay, so to confirm that we're going to retrace back down to these targets, we need to lose 0.0353. Okay, so just to clear that up a little bit for you guys because it was a bit blurry. Okay, as I said, you've got wave 1, wave 2, this potentially is a wave 3, a wave 4 into the resistance of the EMAs, and if you start to come down, lose this golden ratio, lose this ascending support, and turn that into resistance, I do think you are looking for a potential pullback to 0.0282, which could put would scare the absolute crap out of people. But what you've got to realize is there's areas of support and resistance. If we did come down to this 1272, you've got a very strong support range that we held here for HBAR back in October 19 to January 2021. You can see that we was in this sort of range here before we broke out. So to come back down again, and as I said, to confirm it, lose the golden ratio, lose the support, turn it to resistance, then I do think potentially you will start to work your way down back to this area that HBAR found support on and held for a very long time before impulsively breaking out. So that's the negative scenario, guys. Okay, we run into this 10, we get rejected, lose support, lose this trend line, turn it to resistance, lose this this 1 fib and this support, then you've got the 1272 at 0.0282, where you could find a potential strong area of bounce, and I think that would be a great area to get involved. From now, if we did do that, that's a short opportunity of 60%, but again, we wait and trade on confirmation. Right now, we are sort of impulsively run up to that 10. I would expect some pullback, okay? So for me, potentially, I think in the near short term, I would be short. Again, nothing I say is financial advice, but I'd be short to come back to EMAs, to look for a stronger build up, recharge the batteries, to break out of this resistance that we're currently running into to start the races. And as I said, you're in this ascending triangle looking to break out. So right now, that's the plan. I think in the near short term, short up back to support, put in a higher low. At this point, potentially golden opportunity. If we do start to come up and tackle out of this high, very bullish. But again, if you do start to come down and lose this support and turn it to resistance, then I would be looking for further retracement and a potential retracement back to these lows. And if they are lost, we've got that 1272 target down there. So for me, the confirmation that we are going to start to retrace to this is if we start to come down, lose the golden ratio, lose this trend line of support, turn it to resistance, that's your confirmation to go short back down to where you came from, in my opinion. But again, if we do start to hold this support here, this trend line that we've bounced off now, if we do hold that as support and once again come down to it for support, I think it would be a great opportunity to get involved, to look for the long and the break of this resistance that we're currently under for HBAR here. So yeah, guys, I mean, the bullish targets, I'm going to give you some thought experiments here now. If we have put in the lows for HBAR, and this is where it's finding support to go for its next leg up, you know, once it does start tackling out of its all-time high, I think you're looking for a minimum long up to around $1.22. Now, from current price, that's around a 1600% long up, okay? And if you do get the overextension in the next bull market, and it is quite explosive for HBAR, you could be looking at the 1618 target at around $3.20 and around a 4,300% move, which would be absolutely insane. But to me, it wouldn't be surprising, because again, it looks like you've started this impulsive wave. This could be a large wave 1. This is a large wave 2. And if you get your large wave 3, say to the 1272, come back for support on the wave 4, and this could be where you're literally starting to flip the switch, and you're in this large macro trend here for HBAR. Again, because it all works in waves. You can see that this wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, that's one wave complete. And then potentially what you've got your hands on here is a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5 complete. Okay, so support, impulsive, corrective, support. Right now, again, as I've said, potentially you've got this wave 1. If you come back to support here, wave 2, look for the wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, that brings you up to the all-time high potentially. Okay, so it's all about tackling this all-time high up here, holding support, okay, making sure that the structure maintains. And again, you can see here, if we did come back for a wave 2 correction right now to support on this trend line, you would have this inverse head and shoulders sort of forming up here. Again, I think I gave you the breakout target of this in the past. So if we did sort of run into resistance and come back as support, you can see that once you do break out, you're on your way up to this 702, which is potentially this large wave 3 impulsive wave, meeting the technical target of an inverse head and shoulders, pulling back to support to the wave 1 high here, and then looking for the breakout back up to the all-time high. So again, it's just a thought experiment, but you can see it all works in waves. Okay, you've got 5 waves here, 5 waves here, potentially you've got 5 waves here, or we could have an A, a B, and a C potentially. But for me at the moment, we are showing very bullish structure. We just need to tackle above these monthly EMAs. We need to I think we need to pull back here for support, as I've said. Okay, so you've got this very strong level of resistance here for HBAR. Just going over it one more time: resistance, resistance, potentially resistance, come back for support, coil up over a space of time here. This resistance line gets broken, you go long. Okay, that's your long opportunity back up to resistance. Okay, so yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the content today. If you did, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for my next videos. From Chart Nerd TA, take care, peace out.